Hi everyone, welcome back. My name's Morgan. This is my channel Pisces Paperbacks, and today I'm starting a reading vlog. I feel like it's just time. It's been a while since I've done one that was just like a week long, what do I read kind of vibe. Right now I'm reading Disability Intimacy, which is a collection of essays by like almost 40 authors about how disability impacts or can affect or influence or grow the love, tenderness, relationships, connections in their life, like romantic, platonic, familial, all of it. I'm an hour and a half in. I'm really enjoying it so far. Obviously, it's a collection, and I don't think I've really read that many collections of essays or anthologies where every single essay is by a different author. So it is a little bit like there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. And so far I've had one where I thought the extended metaphor that the whole thing was based on was a bit tortured, and then I had one that brought me to tears, and those were back to back. So like I'm very much invested. I'm really enjoying it so far. This is a perspective that I haven't read that many books about, so I'm really excited to read this one and then eventually read the author or the editor Alice Wong's first collection of essays, Disability Visibility. It's gonna be slay. And then I also have the ebook for The List by an author that I cannot remember the name of that I'd like to read. And the third season of Heartstopper comes out on Thursday, so I'd really like to reread the first 4 and then read the 5th volume. Big plans this week, big plans. I'm about to do my laundry, so it's gonna be time to go to the laundromat, which is prime reading time for me. I can't bring my ebook or my Kindle because the battery is so low, so I probably will, I guess, bring a volume of Heartstopper to read while I sit in the park. It'll be very fun. Bye! Hello, I'm briefly back at my house because I just wanted to show you something. Well, I picked up some Amazon packages and I brought them home while my clothes are in the wash before I have to move them over, but I just wanted to share with you something very, very important that's changed my life recently. And that thing is that I got an electric kettle. This is my best friend. This is the love of my life. My life has changed. I've always been a tea person. I've always been a tea person more than coffee. I like coffee, iced coffee is pretty good, but I like tea a lot more. And I was having it often, and my whistling kettle stopped whistling all the time. And I was like, I'm gonna burn my house down. And I was like, but do I want an electric kettle? I like the whistle. But I went to a friend's house, and his mom had an electric kettle, and I was sleeping over, and I woke up in the morning. It was 7 a.m. and I had 2 cups of tea before anybody was downstairs, and it was so quiet and it was so quick. I was like, I need this. Now I'm having 3 cups of tea a day, which actually reminds me, I want a cup of tea to bring with me to drink outside, even though it's actually kind of humid and it will probably be too warm to really enjoy a hot tea outside in the park. But I wanted to share. Else is in the sink. And then I'm talking really fast. I don't know why. I also wanted to show you that when I went to the Renaissance Fair, I got some tea. So they have a really cute little tea shop, and last year I got a decaf herbal tea sampler, and this was one of the ones in there. It's honey lemon, and I just loved it. So I got a big bag of it, and then I also got this really cool wooden box of Irish cream tea. I don't know, like I've had it once, and I think I like it. I enjoy it. I definitely need to add like sugar and milk to enjoy it, whereas some other teas I don't really need either to really love them. But I'm just so excited, and I'm about to have, what do I want? I'm probably going to make myself a cup of Irish cream. So I just wanted to share. Bye.
Hi, I'm gonna be quick because I'm in the park. And there's nobody here right now, but there might be any minute. So I have been reading for 37 minutes, and I just finished Heartstopper Volume 1. It is exactly as precious and wonderful as I remember. I just looked on Goodreads, I gave it 4 stars when I first read it. I'm probably gonna bump it up to 5. The problem with it is that it's not a complete story. But I own every volume, so like it's not really going to like affect my reading experience. I'm changing it to a 5. I love this so much, and this is just a totally normal, chill way that you play with your platonic bros. And I just love Nick and Charlie so much. I cannot wait for season 3 of the TV show. It's gonna be It's gonna be perfect. I just know it. And I'm not bisexual anymore. I am a lesbian. Now I know that I've like always been a lesbian, but I still really love that I don't resent that I believed I was bisexual for 8 years. I don't say like, oh, I thought I was bisexual when I talk about it. I say, oh, I was bisexual for 8 years. Then I realized I was a lesbian, but I was bisexual, and the realization that I was bisexual and like coming to terms with that and coming out was still a really special thing that I went through. And I just love the story so much. I love the relationship so much. I just can't speak highly enough of this series. So now I'm gonna jump into volume 2. I have about 20 minutes left until my laundry is done, so I'm gonna read what I can. I also have my tea I've been drinking, and I've decided I do like the Irish cream. So, having a good time.
Hello, you are inside my tea cabinet, and I have some chamomile right here, and it's Tuesday. I'm so excited to talk to you. I just spilled my tea. Let me fix that. I'm getting ready to go over to my girlfriend's house. She's doing some stuff tomorrow I'm going along with, so I'm taking the day off of work, which is super exciting and fun. And I wanted to give you some updates. So I'm currently 67% into the audiobook for Disability Intimacy. I'm really enjoying it. There was a really good poem. Also, there was another... Every single other poem has not had music behind it, so I don't know why the very first one did. But that's beside the point. There's been other poems that I also really enjoyed. It's, again, like, I think I've said this before, every single thing is narrated by a different person. I wish it said, as each chapter began, whether it was being narrated by the author. But if it is by each author, obviously some I prefer more than others, but that's not, like, impacting my enjoyment of the text. There was a really beautiful poem that I really liked. Let me see what it's called. The You That Used to Be Home, An Anatomy of a Disabled Heartbreak by Mia Mingus. I really enjoyed that, which is so fun because Mia Mingus has been referenced multiple times in at least 3 other essays, because I believe they coined the term access intimacy, which is something that is talked about in this book as well, which is like the intimacy of someone knowing your access needs without you even needing to ask for it. They just provide them. And so I'm really enjoying this book. I love seeing all of the different perspectives on what intimacy can mean, and I'm just really enjoying it. I think it's probably going to be a 4. I mean, it's hard with collections. There's like I said, so many authors in this, up to 40, which is just, it's hard for something to be a 5-star when there's so many different voices and some you prefer more than others. But overall, I really love the ideas, the concepts. I'm enjoying it. I'm also about 30% into volume 3 of Heartstopper. I started it this morning, couldn't finish it before going to work, but I'm going to read it while I walk to my girlfriend's house. And I realized I've never told you guys what this is about. It's very popular. You probably have heard of it if you're watching this, because it's very popular and I don't have like a huge audience where there's like a lot of niche interests. But Heartstopper is a YA contemporary graphic novel or comic series about 2 boys, Nick and Charlie. Let me see. Nick and Charlie. They are in school together, and they're kind of randomly sat next to each other in class, and they form a friendship, and then it kind of becomes something more than that. The story is about really the relationship development, their relationships with their friends, like the interconnectedness of their community, bullying. In the end of volume 3 and in 4 as well, it really becomes about mental health and mental health challenges that some of the characters face, and it gets a little bit darker. But volumes 1 and 2 are literally perfection. They're so good, and it's season 1 of the show is a pretty faithful adaptation of the first 2 books. Season 2 kind of combines things that happen in volume 3 and 4. So I'm really excited for season 3. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I forget what I was gonna say. Oh, the next Lamyah book club book is Hamnet, which I own. Hopefully I will read it this month. Who knows? Good morning. So it is Thursday. Yesterday I did successfully read volumes 3 and 4, or I finished 3 and I read volume 4. I am so excited because that is all that I've read before. I have not yet read volume 5. I don't know what happens in here. I am literally so excited. I want to say, if you're interested in Heartstopper, you probably know the show. To me, my enjoyment of the series is inextricably tied up with how much I love the show. So, like, it's kind of impossible for me to hate these. But I do want to tell everybody that if you're interested in reading there, it becomes pretty heavy. So, volumes 1, 2, and 3. Let me just get these all organized right now. The first 3 volumes are your classic contemporary, it's a romance, they're meet cute, they're getting to know each other, they're falling in love. The first 2 especially are like getting together, and then book 3 is like secret relationship, trying to come out and introducing themes of mental health. Specifically, Charlie struggles with an eating disorder and some other difficult mental health struggles, and that starts getting hinted at in here, but these are kind of like a complete story basically. And then volume 4, I gave each of these 5 stars, to be clear. Volume 4, it's harder because this one really is a departure from the first 3. The first 3 are like following over the course of several, days. This is the story. It's pretty linear. This really doesn't feel to me like a complete arc. And I know they're not. I know that it's originally published as a webcomic, so the arcs are a little different, but this feels very disjointed to me. I still love Charlie and Nick. I love them so much, but this one definitely basically is just Charlie's mental health has gotten worse, and they are now learning how to deal with that as a couple. So they aren't even like together for a lot of this book. Nick is on vacation for a lot of it, and then in the second half, there is a pretty significant time jump. Like, it skips over and kind of tells us about, like, the last 4 months in a way where it's, like, big text describing things and then little snippets of the story, rather than, like, a traditional graphic novel where it's, like, the text is incorporated into the imagery. Do you know what I mean? So this just feels, even though I love Heartstopper and I gave the first 3 5 stars, this one just isn't as enjoyable, which is so hard to say because it's about such like an important and difficult topic, and I do think it handles it very gently with like a lot of kindness. I really like the way that it's talked about, but that doesn't make the book enjoyable to me. I'm definitely gonna give it probably like 3.5, 4 stars, because I still love the characters, I still love the world, I love their relationship, but in terms of it, like storytelling and plot and kind of the writing of this installment, to me it just doesn't live up. It kind of feels like a filler situation. Like, this has to happen in order to get to the rest of the story, like what's going to happen in here in volume 6, but like this cannot stand on its own, and none of them can really stand on their own, but as a story this can only exist in the context of the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it is about 8 o'clock. I am probably going to get dressed for work and then sit my butt right back here and read volume 5 before work, because today is October 3rd and it's officially out on Netflix, and I'm so excited. Last year I watched the series, like I binged it all the way through by myself, and then my girlfriend, who I was not officially girlfriends with at the time, we watched the entire series together, like a couple episodes at a time, and so she was like, you probably want to watch the whole thing again. And I was like, yeah, so I'm going to binge it by myself, and then we will watch it together, which is what we did last time. So I'm so excited. I can't wait. I miss Nick and Charlie so much. I miss them so much. Kate Connor, if you're out there, I'm not available, but you're very cute. So, all right. Bye. Hi, it's nighttime now. Well, it's the afternoon. I'm home from work, And I have finished 2 books since this morning. First, I did read about 2/3 this morning, Heartstopper Volume 5, and then at work while I was like on lunch, I finished it. I loved this. This was definitely for me a return to the specific Heartstopper storytelling that I enjoy the most, specifically like it's following like the day-to-day activities. There's not huge time skips. It's not like narrating retroactively. I understand that like the first 3 volumes are like establishing the relationship and it's kind of like a new thing, and then volume 4 is they are going through something very difficult together. Their relationship is getting more serious. And then this is obviously kind of a step up, like they are growing up together. They're, 16 and 17 now instead of being 15 and 16, and they're like taking their relationship to like the next level, like physically and emotionally. So I understand why this needed to happen. That doesn't mean that I liked it as much. I'm still giving it 4 stars, to be clear. But I loved this. I'm so glad I read it before the series, watching the new season. I am literally so excited. I just loved it. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Like, it's perfect. It's perfect. If I had to rank them, so first of all, 1 to 5, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, easy peasy. And then in terms of ranking them, I think I like volume 2, then 3 and 1 are tied, then 5, then 4. So 5 is definitely not my favorite, but I've also not had enough time to like really settle with it and think about it and go back and look at my favorite parts. And also there's no TV adaptation of the events in this book yet. I haven't watched them yet. So I'm sure once I have more of like the TV show to project onto these, I'll go back and I'll love this one even more. But that's where I am for now. And then I also, on my walk with Marcy after work, finished Disability Intimacy, which I really enjoyed. I didn't love the very last essay. And I will say at the end, it tells you all of the narrators. I was shocked that it was only like 7 narrators for all 40 stories. You could have told me that there was a different narrator for every single one. I would have believed you. So I guess they did a good job. However, that doesn't mean I liked all of them. Just saying. I'm going to give that one 4 stars. It's hard because it's a collection of so many different voices. But overall, I really, really enjoyed all the different perspectives and like learning about a lot of things that I had not thought of before. I feel like I need to kind of up my game in terms of reading about disability and accessibility. It's something that I have not read that much about before, and I found it very interesting and very compelling, and it's something that I want to learn more about. When you support disability access and like disabled rights, you're supporting the rights of everyone. So I really recommend it if you're looking into reading more books by disabled authors. I'm definitely going to read the authors first. The editor, Alice Wong, her first collection, which was Disability Visibility. Tonight I'm going to watch Heartstopper, and then I also want to read, because it's going back to the library soon, I have The List by Yomi Adegoke. This was so fun because there's this really cute bookstore called Maybe Books. I'll put their like logo up right here for a second, and on their Instagram story they were like, which Mudang speaks to you? And it was like 4 different pictures of Mudang, and then depending on which one you picked, they recommended you a book. So the Mudang I picked was Feisty Mudang, and so for that they recommended The List by Yomi Adegoke. And this is like a literary thriller about a woman who is so excited to get married, and then the night before her wedding, she finds out about a list of like men who are abusive or have allegations against them, like a crowdsourced list, and her fiance's name is on it. I don't know what the like thriller aspect of it is, like if it's like investigating or more like suspensey, but I am very excited and I really like the cover. I think it is so cute. So that's what I'm doing right now, hopefully, and I'll let you know how I like however many episodes of Heartstopper I watch. I am running so astronomically late getting ready for work. Like, I don't have time to talk. I just want to quickly let you know that I stayed up till 2 a.m. to watch all of Heartstopper Season 3. It was lovely. It was a pretty faithful adaptation of volumes 4 and 5. Like, I know they're always pretty good about it, and I literally just read them, which is why they're so top of mind, but there were, like, shot-for-shot scenes. There was exact dialogue. There was one scene where I was like, why would you change that? Okay, not to be a spoiler, but it was Charlie talking about somebody closest to him, asexuality, and in the book, the scene still happens in the movie, but they don't talk about that at all. And he talks about asexuality and, like, aromanticism with a different character earlier in the season, so I was like, maybe they cut that for something else. It was just odd, because in the book, he's like, you guys have so many problems for a straight couple, and then the other person is like, neither of us are straight. So, I don't know, and in the show, they just go, we're not a couple. And it was just weird, like, why change that? But overall, loved it. It's much heavier. Like, the first 4 episodes are pretty much exclusively about Charlie's eating disorder. And then the last 4 episodes are about their relationship, like, progressing more physically. And yeah, pretty just exactly what volumes 4 and 5 are. I'm extremely impressed. I really loved it. I can't wait to watch it a second time. Bye! I have to run to work. I forgot to say this morning, hi, it's after work the same day. I did not start the list. I will read that as fast as I can this weekend. It's going back to the library Sunday afternoon, so who knows how much I'll get to. But I did decide to start another audiobook, and I have the audiobook for Patricia Wants to Cuddle, which is like a horror novel, and I do really want to read that, but I've just been feeling nonfiction lately. I want to read nonfiction audiobooks, and so instead of that, I started, I don't know if you can see it, Hijab, Butch Blues. This is a recommendation that I found out about because Sarah Shower, the internet person, mentioned it on Instagram, and it looked interesting. I was already interested because I'm just overall interested in memoirs by queer people, all different types of queer people, any type of queer person. But also, I needed to read a book by an author with a different religious background than me for one of my reading challenges, and this was a perfect time. It was available. I dove right in, and I'm already over halfway through. It's really flying by. It tells the story of Lamyah, who's the author, who is semi-anonymous. She's not out to her family, or at least at this point, and she isn't, and she is a queer Muslim who grew up in a country, and then I don't know which country, it's anonymous, and then at 17 comes to America for college, and it's just basically going through her life and the process of coming out and dealing with faith and immigration and her family and different things like that, and I find it's really, really well done. Yeah, enjoying it so far. That's it. That's the update. I'm hanging out with my girlfriend tonight and my mom tomorrow, so who knows how much time I'll have to finish it today, but, you know, I wanted to let you know that I started another book, and it is very good. I'm really rocking it this month so far. Like, I've already finished, I know they were graphic novels, but I've already finished 4 books this month, 3 Heartstoppers and 1 audiobook. Like, slay. Hi everyone, it's been a couple days I think since we last spoke. The last time I updated was probably Friday night. Or maybe Friday morning after I watched Heartstopper. I have had an eventful weekend. It's currently Sunday afternoon, and I wanted to just let you know what I've been reading. My cat is behind my phone right now filming, so let's hope she doesn't knock it over. Okay, so I am 20% into the list, and I have not reached a point where I can say that I really agree with it being called, like, compared to a thriller. So far, it is, for me, definitely feeling like literary fiction. But it is interesting. It's about Ola and Michael, and I thought it was the night before, but it's actually about a month before the wedding, like 25 days before. An anonymous Twitter account posts a Google sheet that has been crowdsourced, naming a bunch of men in media that have done various things to women. Some of them are rapists, some of them have drugged people, some of them were domestic abusers, and Michael, the fiance's name, is on this list as having intimidated, harassed, and having somebody at a Christmas party, and then having a restraining order against him. And so Ola, to add to, like, the complexity of this, first of all, she's shocked. She never expected this. Of course, this is the man she's in love with, has been in a relationship with, but also she writes for a like feminist lifestyle and sexual health like online magazine. So she is a notable public feminist figure. She reported on the Me Too movement. She's been to a lot of like feminist lectures and like conventions and things like that. So she is kind of dealing with this like outer persona and outer interests, and then having this like personal struggle, being like, this is the man that I love, this is the man that I said I was going to marry, and he is claiming that he didn't do it, you know what I mean? So thus far we're like 15 days out from the wedding, and that's basically all that's happened. Again, I'm only 20% in, but it is interesting. It's very clearly playing with, but like pointing out the difference between somebody's external values and their actual like morals. So for example, Ola, I don't know if I said her name, Ola, the main character, her boss is a white woman who runs this like feminist women's online magazine called, it's called Wominx, but it's spelled WOMXXXN. She picked the title, like the owner of the magazine, she picked the title because she saw women with an X where the O or the E was, and just thought it was for aesthetics, not like a statement, and then kind of had to like backtrack to see what it could sound like. And then also, before she opened this like feminist magazine, she had been a career editor for the magazines that kind of like shame women for their weight or tell people they have to shave, stuff like that. And then one of Ola's friends sells fake eyelashes, and she, you know, sends them out with little notes thanking people for supporting black businesses, but also she buys them and drop ships them from like factories in China where they're sold for like pennies on the dollar. So it's very like external morals versus internal like values, and it's just very interesting how clear like that is like the theme, the motif that keeps coming up, because obviously Michael to Ola is like, I didn't do this. First of all, I've never been to a Christmas party, and second of all, I've never done this to a woman. But then internally you can hear his internal monologue being like, well, I am not, like, I'm keeping secrets. We don't know what the big secret is yet, but like he's been like, well, I used to, you know, chat up women on the street, and you know, you don't want the ones that are so eager for it, so sometimes you have to try a little and like maybe keep talking to them even if they think they, you know, look like they don't want you to talk to them, and then eventually get a number and chat them up. And then he to himself is like, when you spell it all out like that, it seems like harassment, but I was just flirting. Am I really that bad of a person? And so it's like, you see, like, there's like that cognitive dissonance that all of these people are experiencing about their own values and like judgments. So I am interested. I'm not like obsessed loving flying through it, but I did read the 20% pretty quickly. My ebook is actually going back to the library later today, which kind of sucks. Actually, it's going back in like 10 minutes. So I'm not going to get any further, but I don't think there's too long of a wait, so I should get it back fairly soon, and I'll just finish it whenever I finish it. And then I actually also finished the audiobook for Hijab, Butch Blues by Lamyah H, and I really loved it. I'm probably going to give it like 4.5 stars. I think sometimes the timelines were a bit confusing in terms of like where she was in her life at any given point of each specific essay, but overall I thought this was an extremely powerful, moving, introspective memoir about someone who is a faithful Muslim dealing with not only accepting their sexuality, but also living that sexuality and deciding like who to tell and how to tell and making those important choices, and also being an immigrant and how all of these things kind of connect in her life. And it was also really interesting because she uses stories from the Quran throughout to kind of parallel experiences that she's going through and help her understand it better. And it was fascinating to hear those stories from the perspective of the Quran from a Muslim, because I'm Jewish, and a lot of the stories that she was telling were stories also in Judaism, but the names are slightly different, and the perspective, like the traditional storytelling that I know is like slightly different. So I have to say I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it if you're looking for queer memoirs, which I'm always looking for. Elsa, stop it. So yeah, I thought that it was really well done. I think the narrator was also phenomenal. I don't know what the narrator's name was, so maybe I'll put that on the screen. My phone's charging across the room, so I can't get it right now. But I think this is gonna be my last clip of the vlog. My cat just jumped and shook the camera. I take a little bit longer to edit some stuff, and I really want this video to go up tomorrow, and it's already the afternoon on Sunday, so I really need to edit it and get this up. So I'm gonna call it off. Let's just quickly review everything I've read in the past week. I don't remember if I started this on Monday. If I did, then have talked to you about is Disability Visibility, edited by Alice Wong. 4 stars. This collection of essays about intimacy with disability was really interesting, perspectives that I hadn't had before or like considered before, and definitely made me more interested to read even more books about disability. I'm really excited to read Alice Wong's first collection of essays, Disability Visibility. Then I also read all 5 Heartstopper novels or graphic novels, and 4 of them were rereads from last summer, which I absolutely adored, and then the 5th one was just like a great expansion development of the relationship between Nick and Charlie as they get a little older and they're feeling a little bit more, not serious, but they're ready to take their relationship to the next level, physically maybe. And it was just really delightful, especially because volumes 4 and 5 are pretty much exactly what season 3 of the TV show is based on, and so it was really cool just to have read it and then immediately seen those books adapted, and slay, just loved it. I think those are the only things I finished. I just talked about Hijab, Butch Blues, and the list. So that's what I am gonna wrap it up with, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you've read this week, if you've read any of the books that I read, what you thought of them, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!